This is Lilia with the Help Yourself podcast, and today I am delighted to have with me from the other side of the country, Julia2, Julia Coulson and Julia Leslie Melville, who have become very dear friends of mine over the last few years, really. Started off with our passion for health and then working together and having fun together. Girls, thank you so much for coming on the Help Yourself podcast.
Thank you so much for having us with you today.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Great. So let's just start with that amazing centre that you have, Perth Wellness Centre. It's in a sort of industrial estate, isn't it? Just in, well, pretty close to the city centre in Perth. You're very close to a river, which is obviously brilliant. And you've got parking right at your door. And you have the luxury of quite a big space, not just for your own retreats, but obviously for other healers and teachers and guides to rent your space. But your timing wasn't exactly perfect, was it, when you opened it? Can you tell us about how it all happened and how you opened it the week before we all got locked down?
It's always divine timing.
We've been looking for somewhere for about 5 years together, and we were looking for a studio originally, and it just kept not happening, and it just wasn't quite right. And then, were we in lockdown? I think it was around the time of the pandemic first kicking off. And this property came into our awareness, and we thought, oh, let's go and have a look at it and just see. And the minute we walked in, it was just, this is what we need. We've got 2 studios, we've got 3 therapy rooms, we've got 2 bathrooms, we've got a kitchen, and it's just perfect for what we need. But then when it took ages to get all the legal stuff organized, didn't it? So much toing and froing. It was a whole new area for both of us, that legal chat and all the rest of it.
Big learning.
And then when we finally got the keys on the 1st of November, we went into full lockdown. So it was like, oh, okay.
It gave us time to set it up and get equipment and things for the place. So it was really nice to have that time too.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you've got to just say this is the way it was meant to be and turn it into an advantage, don't you? Now, you guys are pretty unique because you're both psychologists. You're both Kundalini teachers. And I want to talk a little bit more about Kundalini because to me, it's one of the most fascinating yogas. You both, you've got so much in common. How did you get together? How did all this synchronicity start?
Well, it was back in 2008. We were working for a mental health charity in Perth, and that's where we met. And at the time, when we met, we were doing the same thing, as in our psychotherapy. We were there on a placement. We had the same name. We were both English. We actually had the same hairstyle at that time. It was just like, oh, okay. It was really lovely. Yeah, so that's how we met.
Right, okay. I didn't even know that, actually.
That's cool. We thought we would like to set up a private practice and work together with something, which we did pretty quickly, didn't we? Within meeting, just felt there was a connection between us, and we set up a practice with a couple of other people that then shifted and changed as time went on, and we've just stuck together. And it's sorry.
You've also both got gongs, and you both work together a lot, running your day retreats and ceremonies and all the wonderful things that you do. But let's talk about Kundalini Yoga, because from my perspective, teaching people to let go, I think that Kundalini really helps to release trapped emotions. I mean, you're really working on the energy field. And I know you guys have done a lot of training all over the world together in this. So tell us about how that, were you both Kundalini teachers when you met?
No,
we went to a retreat because Julia hadn't been very well, which I'm sure she'll say in a minute. And we thought it would be nice to have something to look forward to. So we looked for a retreat, and we looked for a long time to find something, couldn't find anything that was either in the right place or the right yoga or whatever. And because we were both familiar with Hatha. And then this retreat in Devon came up, with Hatha and Kundalini, and we thought, well, okay, well, we'll go and try it. And the Kundalini was about chanting and things like that. And we were thinking, oh no, that's so not us. And we got, oh my God, we fell completely in love with it. So much so we went to another retreat with the same person, facilitator of the first retreat, and then she became our teacher for our level 1.
It was amazing that we were hooked that first weekend. We just felt so good after it, even though, you know, it was all very weird, this, as Julia said, chanting, and it's breath work with movement. So it's a very different kind of yoga. It isn't about going into postures and holding those postures. It really is about shifting our energy in our body and releasing the Kundalini energy that we hold at the base of our spine to energize us. It also shifts emotional blockages that we have in the body, and that's what I really love about it, because you feel so different after it, but it does shift these emotions. So, you know, there have been times where in meditation I've had tears running down my face. There have been times when I've felt in utter bliss, but the mind doesn't need to know. And that's why it's so good for us, because we can release these energy blockages, feel amazing afterwards, and our mind doesn't even have to know what's going on. Our body's so amazing, it can just heal by itself given the right environment.
Absolutely. And that's the big thing, and the body's holding the score, isn't it? We know that. And that's what I love about Kundalini. And Kundalini, for those who maybe aren't aware, is the energy that we're really looking to move that energy and free all the blockages up the spine, aren't we? And even Sadhguru says, be careful when you're doing Kundalini, because it's so powerful.
It's very and it works on the nervous system and the bloodstream, so it really detoxifies the body and purifies it. It's incredible yoga.
I know. I think when I first started doing Kundalini, we'd gone through our training, and we'd gone to France for a week, hadn't we? It was an incredible week. But after that, it really put me into a Kundalini awakening, where I was either really up here in this blissful place or really down in my root chakra in a really difficult place. And it lasted for about 6 months to start bringing that energy down and grounding myself in it. So it's a really powerful yoga. But, you know, if you know what's happening and you can work with it and allow it and surrender to it, then it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I love about it in terms of my letting go mind is that you're doing a repetitive movement, and you think, I want to stop, I'm going to stop. You can't keep going. My God, this, and then you keep going and you keep going, and you're determined not to stop. And then you can obviously do so much more than you mind is wanting to allow you to do. And then what I think it's 40%, is it they say, you're only, when you start to want to stop, you're only about 40% of where you're actually capable of going. So I think in terms of understanding the power and the resilience, that's my word for this year, the resilience within each one of us. Most of us now are never even tapping into that resilience, but you do when you practice Kundalini.
It shows us our patterns of the mind. So like you say, when you think, oh, I want to stop, you know, this is our pattern of how our everyday life is. So it's really, you know, our mind is so powerful, but how we work past those patterns and what our mind is telling us.
And you have a Kundalini retreat coming up. When is it? In April?
March.
March. All right. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people listening that will be interested.
Yeah, we're holding that at Eastwood House in Dunkeld, where we've been previously. It's the most beautiful house. It's an old house that a couple bought and renovated it. So it's a real mixture of old and contemporary, which is really lovely. And it's right on the river. So the river is literally, look out of the bedroom windows or any of the windows, and the river's right there. the weekend is about really building the energy. What we love about running the retreats is it really gives people an opportunity to immerse themselves in Kundalini and really shift something. And we are there because we're both with mental health experience as well. We can really support people if things come up. So it's very relaxing. It's also very releasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two things really go hand in hand. I think in the Western medicine, we've separated it all out. You know, your mental health is your physical health. It cannot be separated. So, you know, you guys have, I think like most people have who have worked on themselves, you find the things that work for you, and then you're really passionate about sharing it with other people. And I think the body-mind connection now, most of us are understanding the incredible power. And yeah, you guys, I know people that have done your ceremonies and retreats and said the talking to you has really, really helped to shine a light on, because we're all working it out, aren't we? So let's talk about the other things that you've got on offer at Perth Wellness Centre.
What do you want to say?
Well, we're both psychotherapists, so we offer that here. We also offer ceremonies with sound. Sound is
the
gongs, the crystal bowl.
Love that.
They're just amazing. And yeah, we're all about reducing stress and bringing into connection and mind.
You're getting one of these as well, aren't you?
We have our bioresonance, our Quest 9.
We do.
Slowly learning to work with. But yes, as Julia said, it's all about reducing stress. It's about calming the nervous system. And we're really passionate about helping people with their mental health and to reduce and ultimately beat addiction, whether that's with pharmaceuticals, whether that's with negative patterns of behavior, sugar, whatever it might be.
So that we can feel freer and more liberated and love the life we live.
Yeah, absolutely. And the AMP coil, which obviously anybody that follows me will know about, is BAMF. It's called bioacoustic magnetic frequency. So it goes along with all the other stuff that you're doing, as of course does the Quest 9, which we can again, that's another podcast all to itself. So I mean, you're using kind of the ancient techniques, you know, with the latest cutting edge technology. So it's a phenomenal package of opportunity for people that are coming to see you guys. So, and what else in terms of, because I know that you guys have done quite a lot of intensive work on yourselves. So can you tell us about that and how that's affected what you've got on offer?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, because you're right, we offer a lot of different things here. And one of the things that we offer also is Kambo, which is a secretion from a frog, which is taken gently and in a humane way. But it helps us clear negative energy from the body. It's full of peptides. And our experience on it has been that we felt so energized and clear afterwards. It's really helped release patterns of behavior that maybe we haven't understood and things like that. And it's been so powerful for us that, as with all our things that we do, once we experience them, we want to share them if they work for us. So that's why we offer this as well. So, but for some people, that's too much. So that's why then the sound baths could be enough for them, or the Kundalini Yoga retreat, or the Kundalini Yoga class, or the talking therapy, whatever it might be.
Or cacao.
We offer, in the form of plant medicine.
Yes. And that's the thing, isn't it? There is no one size fits all, but you've got a kind of plethora of different things to offer, and you can help tailor make a package for people. And yeah, Kambo, I know it's gaining huge popularity, and I think anything that can help you stay well, because I know from the Heal Scotland perspective, it's all about prevention. And we know that the gut health is integral to feeling clear and well. And so I'm sure just the fact that you could feel clear and energetic would inspire people to try it. And I'm sure, can people just call in to see you? What are your opening hours? How does it work?
Most people contact us online through our website or email. Right. And we will get back to people
Email is really the best way to contact us.
Right, okay. And then you can take it from there.
So there are various forms that you can, and all the dates of things that we're doing are there until June. And we're just about to start putting the dates up then for the rest of the year. So that, because people are busy and they want to know what's happening.
Absolutely. I've got to do the same. It's I need to get into the calendar today. I think will be the day. Yeah, because you're planning your year. I mean, that's January under our belts already. So I know, it's incredible.
Coming here in November for the Goddess Gathering, which is really cool because, as you said earlier, we have the river, which is 5 minutes away. So what we love about being here in the industrial estate, I always think it's like an analogy for life, really, that on the outside it's a bit, you drive up and you think, what? And it's a bit sort of crazy and it can be really busy here. But on the inside, the minute you come in, it's just got this really lovely calm energy. And that's what we're trying to help people to integrate into themselves. So there might be chaos outside, but how do you then stay calm inside? So I just...
Absolutely.
Because although we're in the middle of an industrial estate, 5 minutes walk is a river, as you know.
And it's a really quiet energy here with, there's at weekends, it's so peaceful. It's really quiet. Yeah, it's amazing.
And I know, and when I just discovered that river was right there and it's the perfect depth, it's it's safe to get into, it's ideal for taking people in, and you would not believe that you were beside an industrial estate. And of course a lot of your stuff is at weekends where so it's really quiet, so we can do the breath work. And also because in Scotland you have to plan A and plan B, you could definitely do the breath work down at the river if the weather allowed, but also you've got the fantastic big space as you come into the centre for getting lots of people breathing. And the Goddess Gathering, that's the first time we've done it like that. We did Goddess Gathering East, and we're going to be back there with you guys in November this year as well. So it's really nice to be able to demographically make things easier for people, because because I'm from Argyll on the West Coast, that's where a lot of our stuff has been. So it's really nice to have a place that we can run different things and get access and share this kind of stuff with so many people. Because I think in our world, this is normal. It's all we talk about, isn't it? We meet up and we're Quest 9 and we're like talking about energy, and that's the way we live, and that's what inspires us and gets us excited. But there's still a lot of people don't understand that work, the energy that you can even letting go, and talk therapies that can really change your physical health. And again, the bioresonance again, which is just allowing us to see 13,000 pieces of information on each body. It's really, really exciting times. But I think again, just keeping it really simple and basic. Who's your who comes to you and who can really benefit from coming to you that may not be aware of what you've got to offer? And can you work with people virtually?
Well, anybody can come to us who wants to really work on themselves. And something you said earlier, Lilia, about about the gut bio, and so from our perspective, we also hold all our emotions in our body, and part of our Western culture is to suppress emotions, keep them in, stiff upper lip, we don't talk about emotions. And that's creates disconnection from ourselves, and that tends to be our illness in our culture. So anyone who wants to reconnect with themselves, their emotions, because all that we do here is about, through reducing stress, it's also releasing those emotions from our body, because it's those emotions that create blockages, that hold us back, that stop us from realizing the potential of who we really are. And so anybody who wants to reconnect with themselves and really work and release to feel lighter and freer in themselves,
and to connect the mind and the body, because as we were saying earlier, that's really what drew us into Kundalini Yoga, or certainly myself, was I realized that we need more than just talking. So the talking therapy was great, but as you said earlier, we have to move our body. And it's really understanding I always say to clients, it's really like understanding a new language, understanding the language of our body, so that we really can connect with it and speak to it. And because our bodies are so strong and they love us, but we're so mean to them. I have been so mean to my body over the years, and it took me till I was 40 to think, okay, this needs to stop.
Absolutely. I say that often. It's a miracle I'm still alive. You know, when you think of the things that you put this thing through, the stress.
Yeah, exactly.
Tormenting, really.
And we say the most horrible things to ourselves. So it's really starting to understand the language we use and the way our body works and feels and all those things. So that's why we bring all these different therapists, because they all work in different ways.
And there's something for everyone
in there. If people were wanting to change, we very much, you have to want to be on that path and to think, okay, I've had enough, which is all the people that come here are trying to, they're either come off antidepressants, they're trying to come off them, or they have been in a dark place and thought, right, enough's enough.
Yeah, and something has to change.
They've had a big illness that's created that, whatever it might be.
And we know it's possible to create these changes within ourselves. I mean,
because we've done it.
Yeah.
And are doing it.
So we know it is possible.
Yeah.
If you really want it's absolutely possible. It's hard work. I
was going to say that it's messy, isn't it? The healing journey. It's messy. Yes. And you want to give up, like anything new, particularly if you're older, you're rewiring your brain for different, outcomes. And that's what's brilliant, that you guys are creating a support network, because, I mean, again, from Heal Scotland, educate, inspire, support. But I think as well, obviously I deal a lot with people who have been diagnosed with cancer or allegedly incurable. And that becomes a mental health issue as well, because people are scared. If they're, even when you get the all clear, there's still can be a level of fear of what if it comes back, because the whole system's so built on fear. It can be a real challenge to be completely free. So it's not just I think the whole kind of idea that mental health is separate from physical health, like as we're saying, it's the same thing. So I'm sure people that come to you that have had physical issues that maybe be manifesting from the mind. Well, it is all manifesting from the mind. Yeah. We know that. But again, that might not be clear for some people. We're this month's challenge for Heal Scotland is no blaming, shaming, or complaining, because the understanding of the self-talk, whether it's in your head or whether it's to your pals or your work colleagues, is having an impact on your chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that suffers most, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been doing my fair share of it during this pandemic. But it's just awareness again, isn't it? We're all on this never, ever expanding evolutionary journey. So it's just being aware. It's not just what you put in your mouth, also what comes out of it is having an impact on your chemistry. And I think the other thing that, Julia, you just clearly, it's about hope. That we can change, instead of being led to believe that we're powerless and we're a victim of the body and the mind, which a lot of us are, and I certainly know I was in the past, still on that journey of being completely free from the monkey, the critic in the mind. But the more of us that do it, and the more of us that spread the word, then the easier it becomes for everyone.
Definitely. And also I was just thinking, because it doesn't mean that it goes away. It's not like that sort of silver bullet where it's all fixed. It's just that when that critic comes in, you have the awareness and the space to think, oh, okay, here it is. And then we don't react in that same way. So it gives us a space to take a breath, or to think, to reframe how we're going to speak or whatever it is. Because certainly myself, I grew up in a very judgmental family, and I could be pretty sharp at times. And it never really fitted. It didn't feel like it was me, but it was me. And it was really confusing at times. So it's what I love is that by doing this work, we can become so aware of things that then we can start to think, we become responsible for ourselves, I guess. which is
and it is a personal responsibility. Responsible. It's really, instead of functioning through the old patterns and programs and the learned behaviors, you know, which we didn't enjoy and maybe in our family, but yet we end up doing it to the next generation. So it repeats
it on to the next generation.
I know. So it's breaking that cycle, isn't it? So you guys have got your retreats in up until June, and they're all available on your website, which is Julia2.com, is that?
Yes, Julia2.
And they will also be on the Heal Scotland site. I will get them all in so that people can plan all the retreats for the year. Is there anything else about the centre? You know, because I know you are getting the AMP coil. The Quest 9 is going to soon be available. There's a lot more stuff coming, and that's the way it's going to be, isn't it? You're always going to be bringing in new people and new things. Is there anything else you want to let people know about that you think is important?
Good question.
That's a good question.
We see it all as important.
The website, because it's pretty great. We hire the centre out. People can hire it for events if they want to have it. We have a couple of therapists who work here.
So that's something we're also growing, getting different therapists here that offer.
So you have treatment rooms for hire?
Yes, we do.
And you can hire out the entire centre?
Yes.
So that's, I think, because people are, I know I was always looking for venues that could accommodate the amount of people that I was looking for. So that's really helpful to know. And is there anybody particular you're looking for? Any particular kind of therapies, or just anybody who's got something nice to offer?
This is something we're just slowly sort of growing at the minute, but what we are keen to have is not to have too many of the same. In fact, not really have the same. Really got us doing the same. So if we can have people who offer different, whether it be Reiki or massage or whatever it might be, cranial sacral, but around energy, and you know, most of it's around energy work anyway, isn't it? So it's really finding those
a variety. So because I think as well, you know, the thing is, when people want to go to a more natural or an energy worker, it can be confusing. I mean, again, we've tried everything. We know we're probably practicing pretty much most of these things as well, but it can be confusing for people to know where to spend their money, because let's face it, money does come into it. So it's really nice then that you can help them to choose. And sometimes people just want a massage for no other reason, but they just realize, you know, they feel that they want that. So so that's great. So any therapists out there in the area, get in touch. Just again, email you.
Yes, definitely. Also, what we're noticing, and I think it's the same for a lot of us, the pandemic has really brought people into a place of suddenly connecting with themselves, noticing that maybe their life-work balance was out of balance, but also having this connection with themselves. And actually it can feel really uncomfortable to suddenly be with you. And because there isn't the distraction of work or the distraction of going to the pub or whatever it might be. So finding that a lot of people who are coming here now, particularly for our ceremonies and our retreats and things, are saying we've reached this part where we just need some help because we're a bit confused by what's going on, and we know something wants to change but not quite sure how to do it.
And also people who have been so busy that with the pandemic they've had to stop, and then, you know, they've enjoyed being more peaceful and doing less, but then, you know, they don't know how to keep that change so that they don't go back into that busy again. So it's
absolutely, I think that is absolutely key, because I see particularly women, you know, a lot of my clients are young women in their 30s and 40s, and they're trying to do far too much, you know, and so therefore you're continuously living in the perceived future because you're trying to plan ahead. You're taking yourself out your body all the time, usually get young children as well. I think no wonder we're getting sick. It's just, and that is, I think, a real key thing that we have to take away from this, is that my daughter was just saying about this morning. She's got a really nice balance, and obviously her kids are getting older now, and there's that kind of, well, should you not be going back to work full time? And yourself, when you've got young children, it's 24/7, doesn't matter what age they are anyway, really. It's like, well, why would I not keep this really nice balance? And that's really, it's that word, isn't it? Balance. Balance in your, and particularly with your relationships. Do you do that relationship work for couples?
Yes, we do. We both do. Personally, I tend to work with the couple individually. So if they come together, my experience has been that they can then trigger each other. So then it's working with, because it's all about our own personal journey. It's not about blaming the other, it's because that's the mirror. So yes, we both work with couples, don't we? But do you work individually?
More individually, yeah.
So
I think that's a real, I think most of our relationships need a level of management, but obviously that sexual relationship can be the most challenging for whatever reason. I've never really fully understood it, but I think getting help to
a relationship with ourselves that is the most important one, because it reflects all our other relationships that we're in.
And think, so many families are blended now. I think, that to be able to manage that in a loving, harmonious way, I think we really have to be looking at all these different relationships and how the children are and how, stepchildren, step parents, all of these relationships need to be managed, don't they? Otherwise we can carry on holding stuff that, is not going to be helpful long term for the body.
Absolutely. And something you said about your daughter and balance, it's only social conditioning that has said, oh, once your children are grown, you go back to work. Whereas, it really feels like now is the time of changing those social conditions, going to school, working all your life and then retiring. I mean, who said we have to do that now? We can create our own way that balance that actually keeps us in our wellness.
Yes, I love that. Keep us in our wellness. Absolutely. Well, listen, I think that's a really lovely place to stop. We will do more podcasts in the future as things progress and expand, and as I say, get your personal stories out there, because we love the stories. We're humans living in this grand play we call life. And it's like, well, how are we going to manage this, and how are we going to keep as much joy flowing and fun, but also getting things done? That's the
communication is key,
and connection. We all need each other.
Absolutely, communication and connection. It's so true, and I think that's the other thing the pandemic has put right there. It's I had lunch with some girls at the weekend, and we were just high as kites getting together for the first time properly in 2 years, out in a restaurant. Like it was just so nice, and you realise it's really these very simple things, good food and good friends that that keep you sane.
And what seems to be coming through a lot at the moment as well is a lot of families where they're not speaking to each other. They just literally cut each other off, and so it's helping people understand actually we can get through that, looking at our own relationship and with ourselves. And so again, it's that communication is everything.
Well, exactly. And I think that's the idea, that you're cutting somebody off and it's not affecting you. It is. Because what we want to do is communicate it all out, don't we? And I think definitely it brought in the divide. Some people are very, I'm doing it this way and you should do it my way, and not happy if you're not falling in line, and you've been heavily judged, etc. So, but again,
big shift.
So
at the moment,
it's exciting times. I mean, much as it's chaotic sometimes, it's really super exciting. And thank you guys for everything that you provide for the extended community. I know that you've been holding space and everybody absolutely loves and admires and respects the work that you're doing. So thank you for that. And thank you for Perth Wellness Centre. And people can find you online. Email's the best way to connect with you. And I will hopefully see you very, very soon.
Thank you, Julia, so much for asking us as well. Thank you for all that you do as well, because it's awesome.
It's all good fun.
Have an amazing day.
You too, guys. Ciao.